secret to you.
My ego waffles. I ain't trying to be aggressive, but people look at me like I'm an old man. I came back from resurrecting. They look at me like I came back from the dead, like it's Resident Evil. But they don't even understand that I'm actually more human than you ever can. This is why I'm what you call the ex-human. I'm just different. I'm artistically different. What is up, guys? Your king and I, VII, about Tommy X Turk, back at you with a brand new video. And when I make this video, it's probably gonna be during my break at work. So, you know, it'll be during my break at work, most likely when I get this uploaded. But I'm gonna record the audio right now for this. But there's something that I just looked at. Now, this goes back to when I talked about who Cloud's father was during the Father's Day thing. So this is way back. This is last year's material. So I'm going back to it right now and make possible theory and connections. First of all, there's only a few blonde hair characters in the Final Fantasy VII world. Such as President Shinra, Lazar Durcius, Rufus Shinra, Henry Townsend, Sid Highwind, and I know Cloud's not a Highwind. This got me to thinking maybe, if we don't know who the father is, maybe Cloud is related to someone who works at Shinra. You know, and he's not a Shinra, so maybe it could be the fact that Scarlet's sister could be Cloud's mother. Or maybe Cloud's father was a brother of Scarlet. So, and the reason why I think that Scarlet is Cloud, Strife's aunt. Not just only the fact she's older than Cloud, of course she is. Even though, let's be honest, even though I don't really like the character, I gotta say, for a character that's in her 30s, she looking as fine as Tifa is. Even though I really don't like the character. But it could be possible that Scarlet is actually Cloud, Strife's aunt. First of all, not only because by age, but if you really look at the facial structure between Scarlet and there's going to be people that say, well, no, it's just the same design. But if you look at Cloud in his cross-dressing gear when he dresses up like female to save Tifa, he has kind of the same facial structure as Scarlet. Because if a guy has a facial structure to somebody else, like if you look at any pictures with me and my mother, we look exactly a lot alike. You know, so you do look like your relatives. So I think it's possible that, look at the facial structure, the blue eyes, because even before Cloud got the Mako injections, Cloud had ocean blue eyes, like really ocean blue eyes. Scarlet has ocean blue eyes, and they both have really light bleach blonde hair. You know, it's even more bleachier than Sid Highwind's blonde hair. And I said it before, Cloud is not a Highwind. You know, Cloud is a Strife, meaning that there was one person soldier, or at least maybe Henry Townsend is actually an alias and he's actually Mr. Strife. But even if it's not that, Mrs. Strife kind of looks like, it kind of looks just like Scarlet. But Scarlet, you know, and Scarlet and Miss Strife have the same kind of hairstyle a little bit. One's an updo and one's the ponytail, but it's the same kind of hair base, which makes a lot of sense. Whether she's related to the mother or father, either way, she looks a lot like Cloud. You know, she does. She looks a lot like Cloud, even though Scarlet does not know that Cloud is her nephew. And maybe Rufus Shinra knew. Because also in Avid Children, Rufus Shinra was about to recruit Cloud. A guy who spent all of his days in Final Fantasy VII fighting his empire. Rufus Shinra is interested in recruiting him in Avid Children. He even said something that only Cloud would know. You fight like the soldier you claim to be. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe maybe, maybe Scarlet actually knows that's his nephew. The first time the reactor gets blown up by Avalanche, and President Shinra greets Barrett and Cloud, you know, President Shinra says something like on the lines of, you have this strange power. You may not be no Sephiroth, but you have some strange power." Maybe President Shinra reported to the rest of the Shinra Corporation. And not only that, Hojo has experimented on Cloud, so I'm pretty sure Hojo has turned in his reports on Cloud and Zack, and Hojo knew Cloud was the one who beat Sephiroth, and maybe there were some pictures of both Zack and Cloud, and maybe that got to making Scarlet probably thinking, wait a minute, he looks just like me a little bit. What if it could be possible that Scarlet is actually Cloud's aunt? Which would also explain why she personally hates Tifa as well. Because, because Tifa is part of Avalanche, and the fact that Tifa can dress, scantily clad as well, she might not want Tifa as, Cloud's future wife, and that's why she directly hates Tifa. Which would be kind of messed up if this woman ends up being Cloud's aunt. That would be kind of messed up a little bit because, Barrett and Cloud become good friends, and, well, Scarlet's the reason why Dyne went crazy. Barrett was hailed as, a traitor to his village and stuff like that, and everything, But it's not too crazy to think that this theory cannot be real. And in my headcanon, it is real, because in my headcanon, I think it could be real. The fact that she took a little interest in, and even Rufus Shinra knows more about Cloud than he should already know. And not because they fought before. They fought before, but how does Rufus Shinra know that Cloud claims to be a soldier but not? How does he know? And not only that, I'm pretty sure she was curious when she saw the report of the man who defeated Sephiroth. Even though Sephiroth was one of their greatest soldiers, I think this could have made Scarlet a little bit proud. Of course, Scarlet, have to be tough and cold and evil as she is for the Shinra Corporation. Of course, she ends up trying to kill Cloud in them, of course. She ends up trying to kill Cloud in there in the first place, but, the fact that she went after Tifa and tried to put Tifa in a gas chamber would also show that she has a disapproval of Tifa. And this is if Scarlet knew, but I don't think Scarlet knows, but if she did, this would be very interesting, and maybe the remake might change a little bit of things. But it could be possible she knew that her nephew was the one who defeated Sephiroth, and her nephew is, the one who's also a high commander of Avalanche, because he kind of becomes like a commander for Avalanche. So she knew probably her nephew is special. But this is only if it's possible. Then you also got to look in the investigation of facial features. Eyes, same kind of chin. Even though Cloud's a male, males do resemble some of their female family members. Like if you see a picture of my mom and then you see a picture of me, we look almost exactly the same, just different gender. But you do look kind of like the women in your family. So it could be possible. Look at the facial structure, look at the eyes, look at the hair, and the fact that Rufus Shinra knows too much about Cloud. I think it's possible. She did take odd interest in Avalanche, and now I see why. It's not just because the man she tried to kill, Bear, survived. I mean, that's just only one of them. It's the fact that she knows her enemy is her nephew. And Final Fantasy kind of follows that Star Wars formula where there's always family members on evil sides, and then, they have to fight them, Think of it like it is with Final Fantasy 15, how when Ravis was part of the Niflheim Empire and Luna was the good guys, and you get the point. Actually, it'd be more like episode prompt where Verstel is a bad guy and he's part of the Niflheim Empire. But in this case, it would be possible that Scarlet is the evil aunt of Cloud Strife, which will make it tie together real good. Besides, Final Fantasy VII, one of the things I like about Final Fantasy VII, everything tied together. Vincent's story tied with Shinra. Yuffie's story tied with Shinra as well. Everybody had ties to Shinra at one point, whether they were fighting against them or they were working for the organization. So it would tie in perfectly as well. Instead of just being a person who antagonizes Barrett, if she was related to Cloud, this would change so many things. Now, I've gotten theories wrong before, so don't hold this theory and say it's completely canon because I say it is. Don't hold it to, don't take it too seriously. This is only a fan theory and made it crystal be with you. And guys, like and subscribe and share. And remember, this is only a theory. Don't take it seriously. This is only headcanon theory.